Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we are going to start a new chapter of this course, which is a trigonometric function. You know, in class 10th, you studied about a trigonometry, and you know what is trigonometry. Trigonometry simply means the study of the sides of the triangle. In a triangle we have two things: one the side, second one the angle. Now, what is angle? Firstly, we will discuss here what is the angle and what are the SI units through which we can measure the given angle. Angle is simply a measure of rotation of a given ray about its initial point or about its initial position. Now, if we consider what does this mean? It simply means if we consider a ray, and you know that a ray has one end point. Let's assume that the initial position of the given ray is this OA. Means O is the fixed point, means the end point of this ray. Now, if we want to rotate this, or if this ray rotates about this position, that is this O remains fixed, we have to rotate the other end of this, that is end A. So when we rotate, there are two possibilities, or there are two ways for this rotation. One in clockwise direction, second one is anti-clockwise direction. So if we rotate this in anti-clockwise direction, that is we rotate this from position A to A dash, that is this. Here this, for this new ray of A, O remains the same, that is endpoint of these two remains the same. Now this rotation, the measure of this rotation is simply called as the angle, So angle is simply made up of two rays with same initial or the initial point. Now for angle we have two things: one the initial side, that is the fixed or the given position of this ray, and second one is the terminal point, or the terminal side, or the terminal arm. The point where these two rays, or the point of intersection between two sides, terminal and the initial side, is simply called as the vertex of the angle. Now here this measure or this rotation is in anti-clockwise direction, because we are starting from this point up to this, that this means it is anti-clockwise direction. Now we have two direction, one is the positive, second one is the negative. Usually this positive direction, this anti-clockwise direction is taken to be the positive angle, or the measure of this angle is said to be the positive measure. Similarly, if we rotate this initial arm, that is initial side or the initial ray, about its end point, or the initial point, through clockwise direction, that is we give rotation from this to this. When we give rotation from this to this side, we get the angle. Now this angle is called as the negative angle, or simply we can say that the measure of this angle is negative. Here negative simply indicates, it doesn't give us about the magnitude, but it simply describes the direction, to which direction we are measuring. Whether clockwise it is negative, if it is positive then we have to consider, or we should consider this as the measure of the angle is along anti-clockwise direction. Now when we measure the angle, so this means that there should be a unit. Usually we measure these angles in two systems. One is the degree measure or degree system, second one is the radian system. Firstly we will consider what is degree system. Now if we consider a ray, that is here ray with the initial point O and the terminal or the end point is A. If we consider this as a ray, and if we mark, or if we make a complete revolution, one complete revolution about this initial point O, or about this end point O, so this means that in clockwise direction, so the rotation is like this, that is we rotated this, or this ray from A to point A. So this is the one complete revolution. Now this, if we divide this one complete revolution into 360 parts, that is we divide this into 360 parts, that is this we divide this into 360 parts, this complete revolution into 360 parts. Then when we divide this into 360 parts, then one such part is simply called as the angle whose measure is 1 degree, or the one part is said to have the measure equals to 1 degree. So what is 1 degree? 1 degree is simply, if we consider a ray and have a one complete revolution, when one complete revolution, this 1 by 60th part, 1 by 360th part, that is, we are dividing the complete revolution into 360 parts and consider one such part, and then that such part has the measure equals to 1 degree. So 1 degree is simply 1 by 360th part of one complete revolution about the initial point or about its end point of a ray. In this system, 1 degree is simply equals to 360 minutes. 60 minutes, and 1 minute is simply 60 second. 60 second. If we measure this in anti-clockwise direction, then we say that its measure is positive degree, or the measure of this angle is positive degree. And when we measure the angle in anti-clockwise direction, then we have to consider the negative measure. Now the second one is the radian major. What is radian major? If we consider a circle of radius equals to 1 unit, radius equals to 1 unit means we have to consider, or we have to draw a circle whose radius is 1 centimeter, 1 meter, or 1 mm. Let us consider an arc AB. That is, we have to consider an arc AB whose length is equals to, simply here we are considering the unit circle. If we consider the circle of radius r, then we have to consider the arc of length equals to r units. So usually we will consider here, or we are considering here the radius equal, the circle with radius equals to 1 unit. So this means that definitely we have to take this arc equals to 1 unit, that is, length of this arc equals to 1 unit. When we consider the length, so this means that the end point of this arc are A and B. End points of this arc are A and B. Now here, if we consider these end points as the initial point and the terminal point of this angle, which is formed at the center of this angle, of this circle, this angle is said to be measure equals to 1 radian. So what is simply 1 radian? 1 radian is simply angle subtended by an arc of length 1 with the circle of this with the center of the circle whose radius is equals to 1 unit. Now how to generalize this concept? How we can define that theta, if theta is the angle subtended by any given circle of any given or arc with any circle. Now since we know that the circumference of any circle is 2 pi, circumference of a circle whose radius is 1 unit, it is 2 pi. If we consider circle of radius r, then we have to consider 2 pi r. And we know that the complete angle is simply 2 pi, because one complete angle equals to 360 degree, and 360 degree is equals to, in this radian system, is equals to 2 pi. Similarly, if we consider 180 degree is 360 upon 2, that is 2 pi by 2, that is simply pi degree. So generally, if we have the circle whose radius is r, and there is an arc whose length is L meter or L unit, then the angle subtended by this arc at the center of this circle whose radius is r is simply given by theta. Theta is simply equals to length of arc upon the radius of the circle. Now this theta equals to L by r is called as the angle, but measured in the radian. Here we have also the negative and the positive concept. Positive concept means if we are measuring in the anti-clockwise direction, while if we measure it the angle in in clockwise direction, we simply call this as theta equals to, suppose, pi minus pi radian, minus pi radian. So inshallah in tomorrow's video lecture we will discuss how to convert radian angle measured in the radian equals to into the degrees, or how to convert degree measure into the radian measure. So thank you.